which is not known to be particularly friendly to Mr. Modi, organized several commissions and task forces whose investigation it closely monitored. And that investigation was conducted over a period of several years. Evidences were taken and they were recorded in video. Based on that investigation, a detailed report was submitted which exonerated Mr. Modi of any direct or indirect complicity in the events. So, and then there are some other facts that which was subsequently brought to light. So there are some unfortunate events which preceded the riots, and I really don't want to get into it because I don't think riots can or should be justified or anyone is trying to justify them. But the point is there was significant anger that was generated because of those unfortunate events which led to a reaction which couldn't be controlled in a very short time. And the damage was done within a space of maybe a couple of days. So what the SIT report says is that Mr. Modi called in the army to control the riots, and orders for open firing on the rioters were issued. So amongst 1,000 people that were killed, we shouldn't look at the religion. Okay? It's the people who died, it's human beings who died. But still, since human rights records are being questioned, 300 were Hindus and 700 were Muslims. So in other words, it was not a genocide, it was a riot where both communities suffered. And lot of people, lot of the rioters, potential rioters were rounded up before. Otherwise the damage could have been even more significant, and a lot of rioters died through police firing. So based on all these facts, I think it's completely wrong to hold the administration of Mr. Modi to be guilty of any participation in the events. So whenever riots happen, there is always a failure. Okay, if the riots happen under any administrative watch, there is always a failure, but that is it. And that's true of any riots or any administrative order that any head of the state gives. So, all right, so with that in mind, now the second point which the petitioners brought in was this, that we shouldn't be legitimizing Mr. Modi by inviting him for a plenary speech in a premier university in US. So I have major issues with that, because I have been part of many conference organizations, and I do know that plenary speeches should never, ought not, and are not decided on the basis of who we want to legitimize, but on the basis of the value it adds to the conference. So it is condescending on the part of anyone to think that we are inviting XYZ for legitimizing him. And also, can we really claim to legitimize someone who has been democratically elected thrice, received significant mandate thrice from a large state of the world's largest democracy? Perhaps not. I strongly believe that the Americans respect in democracy. They take pride in their democracy. At the same, that really means we cannot and we should not presume to legitimize anyone by inviting them for plenary speech of any conference, whatever is it. The third point, apparently the growth story or the economic progress, economic model of Gujarat is flawed. Let's see whether that's the case. First, this was a statement made by many of the faculty members or the petitioners who probably has nothing to do with economics. Neither do I. I'm a faculty member in engineering. Economics is not my expertise. But I'd like to look at the facts as stated. So Gujarat in the last 10 years registered double-digit growth. And a large part of that 10 years was when the world was going through a significant recession. So the double-digit growth was registered despite that. And as a result, we have industrialists all over the world flocking to Gujarat. If anyone, any of us has kept tab, we should look at the Vibrant Gujarat Conference, which was attended by representatives from over 100 countries. The European Union is enhancing its engagement with Mr. Modi, and UK is in the front, is a front runner. So one of the premier UK ministers, Mr. Hugo Sware, visited Gujarat, I think a few days back, and he subsequently tweeted. So I'm quoting his tweet from memory, so please excuse me if I'm erring slightly, but the message was this, that Gujarat is moving from strength to strength. And UK is very proud, UK is very happy to be associated with that growth story, and this is why I'm talking of a minister, of an important minister in UK, not a Gujarati, not an Indian. Okay? All right, so one of the arguments has been the fruits of the Gujarat development hasn't reached the masses. Okay? So I have personally been to Gujarat. I spent about a month there, last part, I think December, January. So I saw a significant improvement in the infrastructure. There were great roads, great electricity, and water has reached large parts of Gujarat, and let's keep in mind that's a drought-prone area. So I'd really like to start with a personal anecdote here. Okay, so take it with for whatever it's worth. So I went to Kutch, and